This story just into our newsroom this morning. A Los Angeles woman arrested for trafficking arms on behalf of the Iranian government. Correspondent Max Gordon is in the Southland with more on that for us. Max, a crazy story with incredible pictures from the airport.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. Last night, 44-year-old Shamim Mafi, an Iranian national now living in the L.A. area, was arrested at LAX just before getting on a flight to Turkey. She's accused of trafficking arms on behalf of the Iranian government. According to the FBI's Iran Counterintelligence Squad, Mafi is accused of selling Iranian-manufactured bombs, drones, assault weapons, and millions of rounds of ammunition to Sudan. Mafi was allegedly coordinating with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. According to the federal government, one of the contracts was worth 60 million euros, brokering the sale of Iranian-made drones between Iran's defense ministry and Sudan. In another instance, Mafi is accused of selling 55,000 bomb fuses to the Sudanese military. According to the criminal complaint, Mafi is a lawful permanent U.S. resident, though not a citizen. She was born in Iran, relocated to Turkey, but most recently has lived in Woodland Hills, California. Mafi travels frequently to Iran, Turkey, Oman, and other countries, and according to the feds, executed her illegal weapons brokering scheme from multiple locations, including right here in California. She's currently charged with conspiracy to violate the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. If convicted, Mafi faces up to 20 years in federal prison. Kevin, back to you.
So as you saw in the breakdown of the news story, this lady, this Iranian who's living in Los Angeles, she sold millions of rounds of ammunition, 55,000 bomb fuses, and she was one of the Iranian drone queens of Iran, evidently, blowing out all of these illegal arms to Sudan and to other countries. So she was under and operating while Iran is under a full arms embargo, right, where Donald Trump is trying to stop arms from coming into Iran from China, from Russia and others. And we have Iranian nationals now that are living within our country, living quite well. You can see the car that she was caught in LA. This is quite a nice Mercedes. And we were scanning, me and my team, her social media profiles earlier, and she had all kinds of flagrant influencer type videos where she's driving around in Mercedes all over Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. Well, this reminds me of somebody else, right? Where here, Qassem Soleimani's grandniece was just recently deported by ICE, and she too was living in Los Angeles and living this influencer life. So when here, and this is the reason for me putting this story together, when are we going to have enough? When do we demand that our Department of Homeland Security, our FBI, etc., get these Iranian nationals out? And I'm not saying all. I'm not sitting here making some blanket statement. I'm saying these people, this is Qassem Soleimani, right? The individual that Donald Trump kind of terminated. We'll put it that way, make it YouTube safe. Well, his grandniece here's driving a Hummer and doing all kinds of crazy crap in LA. For what? For what? Why do we allow these people? And incidentally, on her social media profile, she was bad-mouthing America the whole time she was here, living under all of the freedoms that our American soldiers are fighting for. So now here, we have this lady, an Iranian national, who's selling arms to Sudan. We have all kinds of others. This is just one example with Qassem Soleimani's grandniece. Again, the question is, why are these people's relatives who are on terror watch lists and others allowed to be in our country? We all know that Osama bin Laden's family had a compound just outside of Orlando. We knew they were flying around on private jets everywhere. So again, as we were hunting Osama bin Laden all over the caves of Tora Bora, right? His whole family, children, etc., many of them were living just outside of Orlando, right by Disney World, in fact. So the question to you that I have is when is enough enough, right? We have, obviously, this lady who was up to all kinds of no good, slinging drones and bomb fuses and all kinds of things, all while Iran is under a full weapons embargo, and she's lived in the United States since 2017. We can do better, folks, because again, when you combine this, right, these people were here legally, but she's not a citizen, along with who knows who made it over our border, right? During all the whole open border fiasco with Joe Biden and our border czar, Kamala Harris. Who is here? Who is here? What are they doing? And why are we allowing them to be here in the first place? That's my question. The comments are open. Let me know why we are allowing these people in our country. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense at all. And in this instance, if we didn't intercept her here in this picture, this is LAX. I've been there, right in that roundabout. Many of us have been there. She's going on a flight straight to Turkey, right? And thankfully, our FBI nabbed her. So the question for you in the comments is this: how many more are there? What are we waiting for in trying to get and deport these individuals who are relatives or arms dealers, relatives of Qassem Soleimani? I mean, this is a no-brainer. For arms dealers, thankfully we got her, but she'd been here since 2017. She was driving in her social media profile a beautiful little Mercedes right up and down Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. So she is the face of the person that we need out of this country. And believe me, there's many other faces that are doing and potentially planning to doing much worse. They'll know that. The problem is we don't know who they are because they came across the border and disappeared. So this is where we are. This is where we are, where Donald Trump and his Homeland Security are tasked in trying to get rid, in this instance, of some of these Iranian nationals. And thankfully, Soleimani's grandniece, she's in an ICE detention center in Texas right now and should be going back to Iran pretty soon. This individual, thankfully, is in jail tonight in Los Angeles, and she actually has a hearing earlier this week in front of a judge. So this is where we are, as all of our attention is overseas with the Strait of Hormuz being shut down and all this stuff. We have plenty of domestic issues that need to be attended to, and our distraction overseas is allowing people like this lady to do what she's doing, to live quite well under all of our freedoms, all while selling, allegedly, weapons to some of the worst regimes and individuals that are actively fighting battles and wars against our American GIs. That's where we are. Makes no sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you, though. So if I'm wrong, again, let me know in the comments. Be curious what you think. Our very next story is one that you're not going to want to miss. In this instance, I break down all of the fraudulent math that Ilhan Omar allegedly is using, right? Ilhan Omar, the representative out of Minnesota, who has all kinds of terrible things to say about Donald Trump. Well, she just had to update and revise her financial disclosure for Congress, and it doesn't look good. And this leads to, believe me, many more questions than answers for Ilhan Omar and her significant wealth increase since she's been in Congress. My question is, how did she become a multimillionaire? Her point said, I'm not a multimillionaire anymore. That was an accounting error. All of that in our very next story. You're not going to want to miss it. It's right here.